Ashe, guys, Ashe. I just want to talk to you guys briefly about something that is on my heart and has been for a little bit of time, but specifically today because it's been a lot of different instances where it's come up. And that is just love and acceptance. It seems that, like, we forget a lot of the times that we have to accept people for where they are and love them there anyways, whether we see eye to eye with the person that we're talking to, or whether we feel as though we're being understood or not, or whether we feel as though they want to understand or not, or just that person in general, just their energy and their vibe in general, even if they don't believe the same things that you do. If you're spiritual and you feel like they're still religious, or let's say in the instance of like authority figures, if you're at work and it's your boss, and I just lost my train of thought, but that was in there somewhere. If you're at work and it's your boss and you feel as though it's an open door policy, but you can't really express how you're feeling, or you're speaking to a friend or something and they don't really get where you're coming from because they may still be religious and you're spiritual, regardless of the fact of the matter, we still have to accept people and we have to love them where they're at, because love is the only way that we'll continue to vibrate higher and ascend. And it's so much of that in the world, and that is how this matrix is set up. But we can't get caught up in the lack of acceptance and the lack of love, regardless of what's being thrown at us. We can still stand our ground and be true to how we feel, but we can do that in a way that is still loving and that's not providing too much energy to where we feel depleted at the end. I got into a conversation with my boss today about some things regarding this new job that I'm at, or whatever have you, and it's the last job that I'll have before I can begin my own business, and it is in relation to my business. So my purpose there is very beneficial, but my boss holds this ego problem, and he is very it's open door, you can come talk to me and you can let me know how you feel and this, that, and the third. But if you're honest, he doesn't like that, and he shuts that down because that removes the power that he's trying to assert for himself. And at the beginning of our conversation, I was getting a little frustrated because I felt like, he wasn't understanding me. He wasn't hearing me out. And you asked how I felt about certain things, and I'm explaining them to you, but you're then just deflecting and just repeating how you think I should feel in this situation. And it did frustrate me a bit. But then I had to realize, I can see the imbalance, and I can see that we're on two different pages and that we're on two different brain waves, and that's okay. It's okay. So once I realized that, I removed my frustration and I just continued the conversation in a way that he would understand, but that was still true to myself and still allowed me to be who I am, regardless of what this job is supposed to be. Because whether I got it or not, I'm okay. I am sovereign. I'm not governed by a dollar. But everything that he was trying to project onto me and kept saying that I didn't have, or I wasn't doing correctly, was just a reflection of him. And I had to accept that, and I kept telling myself, just remain in love, just remain in love, because I've come a long way, but my mouth has been something I've had to work on for quite some time. And I'm quite proud of myself because I've come a long way. So I had to remind myself to remain in love so that my responses wouldn't be in the frustration that I experienced at the beginning of our conversation. So once I could get to that place and just accept where he was, and that he wasn't in a place to hear me out, and that his ego was too large, and he couldn't see that for himself, I could meet him where he was at. And at the end of the conversation, he apologized. And I also apologized for certain things that I felt I could have addressed better in our conversation. But this society and the programs that they have go so hard on not allowing people to be who they are and not accepting people for who they are, that it's like you'll question yourself when you do stand up for yourself and you are displaying who you are and you are trying to accept someone else. Like, me a couple years ago in that after that conversation, I probably would have felt like, damn, should I have said that? Or I kind of do need to pay my rent, so I probably shouldn't have. Or am I wrong for this? Or am I right? I would have tried to found justifications outside of myself, which would have lowered my power. But instead, I knew what I was saying and how I was saying was delivered correctly. And if it falls on deaf ears, it falls on deaf ears. But the quicker that I was to analyze that and receive that, the quicker the situation switched. But in not feeling guilty for standing up for myself, I am able to empower myself and see what we do to each other, and we police each other so much, and it's nasty, and it's unhealthy, and it's not fair, because your difference of opinion from mine is what makes us beautiful, the diversity. And it's not diverse because we're all one. We're all one people. It's all a collective consciousness. So at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We just express that differently. And we have to do a better job at accepting everybody's difference of how they live and how they move and how they identify themselves. And regardless of, gender, class, race, or religion, everything, not everything, we are all one, and one is everything, and all of that great stuff, we know this. But the universe, or whomever you choose to identify with and call upon, will be called by many names. But if we are all moving in love and acceptance, we can't go wrong, and what you believe in is not wrong. Just because what you believe in is something different from mine doesn't make yours wrong, and doesn't make mine wrong for you. It's different. So why can't we remember that we can learn from anyone in any circumstance, in any situation, and just accept that and love all the way around? But that's been something that I've been working on, and something that came up today, and something I just want to share. So I know if it's on my mind, as this collective consciousness, it's on your mind too. So let's just remember to do our part to love ourselves, always be true to ourselves, regardless of what that may look like for somebody else. Don't feel bad for being yourself, but also accept and love where other people are too, whether they're able to be themselves or not. You may inspire somebody to be them. So, ooh, excuse me. Thank you. So yeah, that's it, and I love you guys. I love myself. And peace.